I'm making a snack. And I thought, let me do a video on the snack. The snack is so easy. It's not even really about the snack. I try to post videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And I was like, you know what? Well, I'm going to make a snack and I'll show you how basic and simple it is. While I also talk to you about your overthinking about your food. So we should talk about the fact that, God, I've struggled with binge eating pretty much all my entire life that I can remember. Even like not as a child because we didn't have a ton of stuff, but like as I got older, it was a way of coping. And you should never, ever, ever be embarrassed by it. I mean, now I have mine very much under control. It doesn't really rear its ugly head. Every now and again, she'll peek her head around the corner. I just acknowledge her. I don't kind of worry about it too much. But it's because you don't want to cope with things. You don't want to take the ownership. You're not sure of your emotional regulation. I mean, binge eating disorder of any type is always going to be related to lack of control in other areas, right? But I will tell you things that are not good for binge eaters. Okay, so this is from a binge eater and from a person who studied it because I needed to know why I was having it, right? Is you don't want to do diets. Oh, I keep hitting this. You don't want to do diets. Stop with the dieting. Stop with fasting. That is not, fasting's great, by the way. It has great, great properties, great benefits to it, but not when you're a binge eater. Okay, it can trigger that. You also don't cut things out, right? And then you got to go to the deeper root, book a session with me, book a session with somebody, but you do not want to do that whole thing where you villainize yourself afterwards and you feel guilty by it. But we want you to have good, healthy relationship with food. And that comes with time. And I also don't cut out food. If I want some cake, I'm going to have some cake. Because if I don't have cake, my little binging friend inside of my brain will go spiraling out of control the moment I have a taste of something that I feel like is bad. Food is not bad. Food is not the devil. Now, obviously, if you have diabetes, if you have other things, if you have gluten intolerance, if you're vegan, yes, of course, you're going to take those cuts. But I did want to show you something that I eat a lot. Again, I have no problem eating unhealthy things. I don't mind them because I eat them in moderation. So this way I don't spiral. Plus, I stay very present and mindful. I have over 96,000 hours of studying mindfulness, meditations, manifestations. So that has really helped. The Buddhist practice in me has really, really helped it. And being honest and open with my stuff, not blaming other people. It's been a thing. So I'm going to show you what I'm making in case you want to make it, right? So I'm using the Okonos 000, right? You can use anything you want. And it's vanilla. So, and I'm not a measuring kind of girl. Okay. So if you're going to be like half it, no, that's too much mental work that I just don't have. And it really kind of all depends on how hungry I am. And it's like, it's not quite dinner time. So it's probably going to be dinner is going to be a few hours. So I'm like, I do want, and I don't care about the calories. I don't care about any of that because when you start calorie counting and you're binging, this becomes a problem. You just want to do it in moderation and you want to be able to appreciate the food that you're having. So I'll tell you what else I'm having. Everything makes noise right now. Okay. So I am also using, after I poured it on there, and I've just literally, this has been open because I have different flavors. This one's chocolate. I'll do cheesecake a lot. And I usually just sprinkle it in, but I'll just show you. Again, I'm not measuring anything. I'm just going to, whatever I feel like doing. But so it's chocolate, vanilla, right? That's not enough for me. No, I love my PB. My PB2 is my jam. So I'll show you. So my PB2 is great. So your girl is a peanut butter junkie. I love me peanut butter. It's fantastic. And then that's not quite enough. Oops, I just hit you on the head in the microphone. I'm going to show you. So that's kind of what it looks like right now. Right. So then I'm going to mix it up. While I mix it up, I'm going to talk to you. So you should never be embarrassed by a binge eating disorder because you already feel some kind of way. And I think I even said this story. I don't know if it's in my book. I feel like it's in my book. I don't know. It's not out yet. But when I first met Paul years ago, like we've been together almost 20 years, not quite, but I was still working on myself. And I remember, I was stressed about something and we ordered a pizza. He took a shower or whatever. I ate the whole pizza in not a small pizza. Let me be clear, a large Domino's pizza and an entire thing of cinnamon twists or, the cinnamon bread, not twists. I ate all of that. And then I went into a total meltdown because I wasn't working on my stuff. I mean, I was, maybe that was part of it. Because sometimes when you're working on your stuff, it can trigger, but you just got to be okay with knowing that there's nothing wrong with you. You're not less than, you're not a bad person. And then obviously, I took some nutrition classes, not because I was like all caught up in my weight and everything, but because I knew that how I was existing multiple times, I knew how I was existing was just not healthy for me. It just wasn't enough for me. I'm going to add some more yogurt to this. But it wasn't, ooh, I know what I'm going to add to this. I'm not going to add that. I'm going to add some almond milk. So I knew that I just didn't want to have to deal with feeling that way anymore. And I think until you're ready, I even talked about this before, until you're ready to really work on yourself, I mean, really ready, because we all say we're ready until it gets hard. And then we're like, well, maybe we're not ready. And that's okay. Like you got to do it on your own. But I think the biggest thing is that you start beating yourself up anytime you're dealing with any kind of eating disorder of any sort. And for me, learning more about my mental health and why I was running from things and how that was a coping strategy. Oh my God, so good. I learned that I had more power and control once I stopped trying to control everything. Does that make sense? Like you develop more power over yourself when you stop trying to have that power. Look, it's looking so yum right now. And it's pretty much all mixed up. I'm just going to mix it up a little bit more. And I mean, it's a good amount. Like you can even freeze this, make it into like an ice cream if you want. But I'm going to show you later on, like not today, but I'm going to show you other things that I eat. And I also, if I want ice cream, I eat ice cream. I'm going to add some Lily's chocolate chips. Lily's chocolate chips are expensive as hell, but they're so good. Why is the bag open like this, you ask? Like, why does it look like Hong Kong? King Kong grabbed this bag because my daughter was like, oh, chocolate chips, and grabbed this bag like she lost her mind. So I'm just going to take some and we don't want to waste that, do we? No. And sometimes I add even more to it. But you can, like I said, it almost has a little bit of a pudding. I mean, it's yogurt, right? So it has that consistency. So if you wanted to put it in there, you could. Perfection. It's really not difficult. You saw me do it. But I'll put what I use in the show description here, in the episode description. But look at it. Look at it. It's yummy. It is so yummy. But so that's what I'm saying. Like I enjoy food now, but I enjoy food because I don't worry about the carbs. When you start, especially if you've dealt with binge eating, you start trying to negotiate things with yourself. But binge eating really has nothing to do with eating. It has everything more to do with your mental health and things that you're trying to avoid, things that you need to cope with. You want to be careful because you can get on that obsessive loop, especially when you're like, oh my God, I need to do this. I'm controlling it. And then the moment it's done, you drop. And it's like, oh my God, why'd I do that? I'm the worst human being on the planet. Like you go through all of that. And that's all based in your mental health. So as a person who, and I guess I can always say, I mean, you know how like you're a recovering binger, I guess I could say that. And every now and again she'll creep in, but I don't worry about, and one other thing that I do is I have a really good support system with Paul, my husband, and my children. So if I start mindlessly eating, like I'm just not paying attention, I'm not outrunning anything, I'm just mindlessly eating, Paul, like, and snacking, right? Paul will look at me and he'll say, would you like for me to remove those from you? Because he knows. And I'm like, oh yes, please put them on the other side. Or he'll go, okay, I think that might be enough. And I'm like, oh, you're right. There's no shame there. There's awareness. You got to be aware. It's not like it happens all the time. Or I'll be aware and I'll be like, okay, if this sits here, I don't want to get up and put it away. But if it sits here, I'm going to keep diving in mindlessly, not because I'm trying to avoid anything. That doesn't always have to be based in something big. It can literally just be mindless. I'd be like, can you please put this away? And he will, So, but be open, be honest. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just another way that we use to cope at things. It doesn't make you a bad human. So, but I am going to have you eat this, not right now, but I am going to have you make this. And you can make it with anything. I do also make it with um, the sugar free cheesecake. Mm. But me and peanut butter, we're like this.